Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3. And today I'm going to be giving you part 26 of What If Naruto Had Cosmic Energy. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Neglected and Lost Everything over on Anime King 2. And also guys, stay tuned for a new episode coming over Anime King, which I hope you guys enjoy. And yes, if you're new, you heard that correctly. I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button to become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And yeah, without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So the last spot we left off as both Naruto and Sasuke made their way towards Kiri, where they met the Mizukage. The woman was rather beautiful, so beautiful in fact Sasuke got all flustered around her, not to mention the way that she spoke. She just had a way with words that seemed to just, well, wrap man around her finger. Well, except for Naruto, it didn't seem to work on him, because he spoke to her with a rather amused smile. And he was also laughing as well whenever Sasuke flustered when Mei tried to tease him, as Sasuke asked how they knew each other. As Mei didn't say it, but she did imply that someone had came to help them in the Civil War, and if it wasn't for that person, they all would have been doomed, she said. She had asked for enough time. For his generosity, Kiri has grown since the previous attack, and now they felt comfortable once again to go and start to talk to other villages, as Konoha was gonna get a new ally very soon. As Naruto and Sasuke spent 3 more days at the village. Sasuke didn't see Naruto for 2 of those, but he did talk to the boy there named Kojo, who showed him around. But Sasuke's mind was kind of conflicted as he was thinking about Hinata. When he was looking at me, Hinata popped up in his head. The both of them hadn't said anything yet about their relationship, but things were just complicated. As they were making their way back, they came upon the masked man, who decided to break the truth to Sasuke. He was trying to stir up trouble. He told Sasuke that Itachi was used by the village. It was a mission for him to kill his clan. As he told Sasuke that he was also being used as well. As Naruto moved so fast, Naruto was able to reach him before he activated his Kamui fully. But in doing so, he sucked Naruto away and trapped him inside his Kamui. He arrived back towards Sasuke after speaking with Naruto and told him that he's not going anywhere. Sasuke was angry about the fact that Itachi was being used by the village. But right now Naruto was gone, he had to head back to the village to inform Tsunade of this. And he didn't know what if the masked man was telling the truth, so he couldn't just rush the gun. He wouldn't do that. Yes, he would wait first. As he made his way quickly, the masked man, calling himself Madara, went towards the Akatsuki hideouts at the Hidden Ring. He informed Nagato that he has captured 9-tailed Jinchuriki, so there is nothing to worry about anymore. That is when it happened. The world itself started to convulse, as the world started to tremble, as space and time started to rip, just like when the masked man sucked himself away. As purple energy started to seep out, the entire world started to feel the energy convulsing over it. The masked man quickly had to flee towards his dimension, as he screamed to Naruto to stop. He was going to destroy the entire world, something that seemed impossible, but yet it was being done. As he quickly released Naruto before Naruto shattered his dimension. As he arrived back at the Hidden Ring, Pain, him, Konan, they were all speechless. How could someone possess so much power to break through a dimension and affect the entire world? It just seemed unreal. The entire world had felt it, as Onki was pissed off at that. Konoha, yes, Konoha was holding pressure over his head ever since the recent attack. They couldn't do much, seeing that they had less shinobis now, and not to mention they had taken a huge dip in their finances to pay Konoha and Kumo for what happened, and if they did not, they would be squashed under the might of the villages, so they had to. Kurosaki then remembered something happened in the past, as given the fact that she was pissed off at Konoha, when she found a Konoha ninja nearby the border, she was gonna take him out. After all, there was no witness here to say anything, as Naruto was the one that was sitting there though. He quickly dealt with her teammates, as he told her that this was gonna cause war, well, unless she gave him a kiss, or go on her knees and apologize, as she refused to lower her pride like that. But when it snapped into his mind that she would have killed any other Konoha ninja, it made him angry, as she felt the weight, something barring on her shoulders, as she quickly showed that she will kiss him. It happened so fast, but yet she could feel the softness of his lips. She had pushed him away after that, as he simply smiled, but not before warning her, never ever do this again. She felt it in her core, that power, that overwhelming power behind those purple bluish eyes that seemed just staring into her soul. Meanwhile, Naruto and Sasuke headed back to the village, as they need to know if the masked man theory was reality. So yeah guys, that's basically that's what we left off. You guys can switch across and please check it out for yourself. So this will be in this new episode. We begin this episode at the border of the Land of Chills, as three Kunoichis were making their way back towards the village, hopping from tree branch to tree branch, making their way. They were moving out of this snowy territory, making their way back to the warmer side of the elemental nation. It has to be him, a voice said, as he was none other than Karu. As the three girls had grown over the past couple of years, Samui, in fact, it seems like her chest size refused. It refused to stop growing. A pleasant sight for most men, but for her it was just a hassle because it made her shoulders ache quite a bit. And there was also Nibichi and Joki there as well, as they were making their way. The Raikage was hesitant on sending out Yujito after his talk with Naruto, but she refused to be hustled over like she was some pestilent child. She could handle herself. Not to mention the Akatsuki had been simply non-existent since everything. They had been quiet, but the Raikage had received a letter from Tsunade. But Yujito was still on a mission. It was a long month mission in the Land of Chills, and the mission was finally over. Unknown to her, she did not know that Gar was captured or what happened, but what the girls did felt was the tremor in the earth, the tremor that shook the entire place. As that power, they all knew who it belonged to. I think it's time I make my proposal, said Samui. And why do you get to do that? What about the rest of us? Said Yujito, as she looked towards Samui. Well, you can wait a couple of years. Why do I have to wait? Why can't you wait? Because you're more valuable to the village. Not to put you in a bad situation, but do you really think Raikage is just gonna release you like that? I mean, he's not a wicked guy who would just keep you up in lock and chains, but you're a Jinjulki, a powerful asset to the village. It doesn't matter if the village is currently one with Konoha, because the relationship has been getting closer and closer. Thanks to that blonde, beautiful stud, she said. Thinking about Naruto. You're drooling again, said Karu. Don't act like you don't do it too as well, said Samui as she looked towards her. What? I don't know what you're talking about, said Karu as she turned her head. Yujito simply smiled. Hey, what's up with that smile? What? Can't I smile anymore? As Samui shook her head, get back to the subject. I'm gonna be moving to Konoha. This will just strengthen the relationship between us and Konoha. That's just because you want to be with him alone. But the Raikage is not gonna send all three of us, said Samui. So which one of us is it gonna be? The girls were hesitant at first after all. At first they thought Naruto cheated on them. But when they found out about the CRA, they couldn't help it. He had to revive his friend. And Naruto wasn't like any other guy that show one person attention and leave the others. He was loving, he was caring. Through his 3-year training trip, he made sure to take time out of his busy schedule to visit them all, to be with them all. And the time that they spent with him was more than pleasant. It was lovely. The girls were happy about it. But the thing is, each of them wanted to go to Konoha to be with him. But the Raikage wouldn't just let them all leave like that. They would be dipping Kumo's strength. Despite the relationship with Konoha, they can't just leave. Yujito's case was different as well, given the fact that she was a Jinchuriki. Yujito's ear twitched as she heard a branch snapping as she turned, coming to a stop. "What's wrong?" said Samui as she looked around. "I'm afraid you're gonna have to come with me," a voice said. Both girls paused as they turned their head to where Yujito was looking. In the shadows, there were 6 men. 6 men was standing there. They couldn't see their faces until one of them walked out, orange hair with piercings all around his face. "Who the hell are you?" Yujito noticed a cloak, a Sasuke. The man simply raised his hand, and it went so quickly. The battle didn't last that long. The 3 girls were powerful kunoichis, yes they were, but against this foe they were nothing. A few minutes later, Samui and Karu were on the ground, black rods sticking through their chests. They were dead. A swirling vortex as the masked man appeared beside Pain. He looked down as he sucked both of the bodies into his dimension. "This was a waste of my time. Hidan and Kakasu could have handled this," said Pain. "You have seen what he can do. I've told you that he has a special relationship with these girls. If he were to somehow find out about this, the sealing process will be messed up once again. This time, we're not taking any chances." Tendo narrowed his eyes. He was afraid. Yes, the great mother Uchiha was afraid. Under the mask, indeed, Obito was afraid. He was scared for his life. Obito felt it. He felt that raw, unnatural power, something that shouldn't exist in this world. He didn't know what it was. If a man could literally cause chaos from within his dimension to the outside world, what could he do? He has already shown it that he was able to bypass his Kamui. Obito didn't see any way that he could win against Naruto if they came to a one-on-one fight. So, he had to use intimidation. He had to use blackmail and force to get Naruto to stand down until the Akatsuki's finished what they're doing. He was playing a risky, dangerous game here, but it will work. And in this game, they were leaving no survivors. That is why the 2 girls had to die. No one could be going back risk informing the others. "They've already assembled. Let's get this over with," said Tendo, as he did not fear any mortal. Despite being able to cause tremor to the earth, Tendo still believed himself as a god. Tendo still was under the false impression that he was able to best Naruto in a battle. His eyes has been giving him delusional senses for far too long. While he thought that he was a god, he was going to find out what happened when he met a real god. As the lives of the girls that Naruto loved were just taken away so swiftly. Meanwhile, as Naruto stopped at the gate of Konoha, as he placed a hand to his chest, he felt strange. He felt bothered. For some reason he felt angry, yet he didn't know why he was angry. He felt weird though. As Sasuke glanced towards him, "What is it?" he asked. "Oh, nothing," said Naruto. "Let's go." As he walked into the village, he made his way straight towards the tower along with Sasuke, feeling strange the entire way, as he didn't know what was going on. Something weird was happening. His senses were never wrong, but he couldn't tell what it was. As he made his way to the tower to find out if anything happened while he was gone. As he made his way and stepped inside along with Sasuke at his side. "What the hell is going on?" asked Natty. The girls were right, it was Naruto that caused that, as she knew that he was strong, but the entire world was shaking. Sometimes his strength really frightened her, knowing that at any moment, if anything were to happen, if Naruto was to choose to turn against Konoha, all of them would literally die. None of them could stop him. He had surpassed her and Jiraiya a long time ago, who were the strongest in this village. So they didn't see any way of them stopping him if he decided to turn against Konoha. But luckily, he would never do something like that. As Naruto sighed, as he walked over and sat down on the couch. "Long story," he said. Snatty glanced towards Sasuke. His face was stern. I'm listening, she said. A few minutes later, so you were placed in a dimension, and you broke free. By almost destroying the dimension and forcing to release you. Well, as you know, said Naruto, nothing can hold me for too long. Well, at least the masked man isn't that much of a threat against you. After all, they do want you for their goals, said Tsunade. But they do not know about your condition. She was speaking about him no longer being a Jinchuriki. No, it doesn't seem that way, said Naruto. Well, let it stay that way. She glanced towards Sasuke. And what's wrong with you, Uchiha? Well, that's a more sensitive issue, said Naruto. As he looked towards her, she saw the stern look on his face, knowing that Naruto usually didn't get so stern when it comes to things. She sent away her envoys as Naruto merely snapped his finger, silencing the entire room. First of all, Bachan, said Naruto, this is not a credible source. But just listen, said Naruto. As she nodded, glancing towards Sasuke, this must have something to do with Uchiha. The masked man told us that Itachi Uchiha did not want psychopath and murder his clan. He was sent on a mission to do so. A mission, said Tsunade. Yes, it seems like Hiruzen wanted to work things out with the Uchiha clan. But Danzo, Tsunade frowned at that, decided that wouldn't be a good idea. So he told Itachi it was either he go after the clan and kill everyone, or he do the village a favor, and he would spare Sasuke for him. As Sasuke frowned at that, feeling so much emotions running through his system, but he kept himself stern. Tsunade looked at Naruto. We don't know if this is true. It's true, Sasuke said. She looked towards Sasuke, and how do you know that? Just in the word of a criminal that go around wearing a mask. Sasuke frowned as he looked down. Exactly, said Tsunade. As she looked towards Naruto, she saw the look on his face. You have a plan, don't you? As Naruto nodded, well, I'm all ears, she said. If Danzo was truly behind this, if Danzo was the one that made this all happen, and here's another way to come out to feel the Uchiha clan alive, to spare Sasuke that wretched memory of his past. She was gonna have the man executed. Time skip. 3 days later, the feeling never left him. Through the entire time, Naruto felt strange. He sent out a message to everyone to make sure everyone was okay. He sent a message to the Raikage, as the Raikage told him that the girls were on a month mission. They should be coming back in time soon. He was gonna visit Yujito after this. He should have a good talk with her. He knew that she would be stern, that she could protect herself, but he just wanted to make sure that she was okay. He just wanted to make sure that she was fine. That was all. The Akatsuki was coming after their kind, Jinchurikis, all of them. And he had to make sure that he put a stop to it by taking down all of the Akatsuki members. He had the power to do so. The only thing he needed was to find them. It's a shame that he can't just sweep the entire world and find him. He could tap into the earth and feel the earth though. He could feel the earth, and when he did, he felt himself. He felt other humans, they were nothing but a small speck towards the mass of the earth, but yet he was this bright, looming light that was bright and shining over everything. As Naruto knew how powerful he was, and sometimes it actually frightened him. If his power was to get into the wrong hand, no one would be able to live. If the wrong people had his power, everyone would die. Well, he was supposed to be some kind of god, a deity. But whenever he let loose, he ended up causing more damage than he wanted. So he didn't want that at all. So for now he was going to keep himself calm and stable. But yet the feeling would not go away. There was a knock on his door. Before the door opened and the person came inside. As Naruto had already set his plan in motion to handle Danzo, but it would take at least one more day. For now, he needed to keep Sasuke calm. Sasuke has been keeping calm the entire time. He wouldn't jump the gun until everything was fully revealed. And Naruto was glad for that. As Naruto looked as he saw Fu enter the room, she had a smile on her face. It was currently nighttime as she was dressed in a nightgown. As her beautiful orange eyes and her orange gown went so perfectly together. As she came beside him and sit on the bed, as Naruto smiled, "You know, you look so cute," he said, as she blushed at that. "Thank you, Naruto-kun," she said. "I came to tell you something." She then saw his face. "What's wrong?" "I don't know," he said. "I have this strange feeling that is just bothering me." "You're not feeling well?" "Not exactly," said Naruto. Fuad came to tell him that she was ready, but she wants to be there for him as not just his lover, but as his wife, soon to be. As she wrapped her arm around him to gently lay him down in bed. "You look like you need some sleep," she said. "You have been pushing yourself lately, haven't you? Not to mention what happened with that masked man. I don't want you to be taken. But I have faith that you can handle it," she said. As Naruto smiled, "Don't worry. No one will ever take me from you." She smiled. She placed her head on his chest, hearing his heartbeat. That was calm, despite his face looking like that. Like he was just overthinking things, and he was upset. She snuggled up his arms. "Fu, you wanted to tell me something." "It doesn't matter right now," she said. "No," said Naruto. "What is it?" "Your thoughts are important," he said. "No, it's fine," she said. "I'll tell you another time. For now, I just want to be here for you. Is that okay?" "Of course it is," said Naruto, as she held on to him. The both of them lay there until they fell asleep. Meanwhile, Obito was able to sneak into the village. He'd done it many times before after all, as he visited the grave site many times. But this visit was not for, well, visiting the grave site and removing the flowers that Kakashi placed on Rin tombstone. This visit was personal. He was sending a warning. This warning was going to be a dangerous one, but it needed to be sent. With that, he made his way. Through the night, no one saw him, as he moved like a ghost, making his way towards the Uzumaki compound. He came to a stop, realizing that it might be dangerous to just go inside. So he paused, before he even got anywhere fully near the compound. As he released a swirling vortex in front of him, two bodies dropped out, as he placed down a note in front of them. And he was gone like that. No sound, nothing, he was just gone. A few hours later, the envoys were on the eastern patrol of the village, going around making a run. Konoha was a very big place, and not to mention where Naruto lived. It was up towards where the Hyuga mansion was. This was like the upper class of Konoha. The envoys didn't visit here that much. The Hyuga clan was up here, not to mention the Uzumaki clan as well. This place was well secured, but they did do running every now and then, passing through. That was when one of the groups came upon the bodies. As the alert was quickly sent, Snappy had to be woken up out of her bed in the early morning to go to the office. Meanwhile, there was Monkey compound, as the banging could be heard when someone was at the gate, waking most of the house occupants. Teiwa shouted, "Shut it up," she said. She covered her ears with a pillow. As the others got up, Teiwa was really not a morning person. She didn't like to be woken up. The place was still dark. As Fu picked up herself, rubbing her eyes. "What's going on?" "I'm not sure," said Naruto. As he stepped out, this was an emergency. Making his way, Haku saw him. "What's going on?" she asked, as she thought he knew. "I'm not sure," said Naruto, "but I'm about to find out." As he made his way, he arrived towards the gate where the envoy stood. "What is it?" said Naruto. "Your presence is requested at the Hokage's office immediately." He simply nodded. This had to be something urgent for them to be waking up at this time of the day. He made his way rather quickly, not wasting any time as he arrived. When he arrived, he saw Snad looking through the window, a stern expression on her face as she turned. Snad simply walked out. "Follow me," she said. As Naruto followed behind her. "What's going on, Bachan?" she said. "They're trying to provoke you. Remember, you have to keep your cool," she said to him. As Naruto was confused as he looked at her. "What are you talking about?" She said nothing more, making Naruto start to get worried. "Bachan, what is it?" he asked. But the woman just led him towards the medical ward. The medical ward where they study and analyze bodies. As Naruto paused, he saw Shizune coming out with a sad expression on her face. As she saw Naruto, she tried to place a smile to ease his worries. As Naruto stepped past her, pushed open the two double doors, he froze when he saw both girls on the table. As Naruto stepped forward, thinking that he was just dreaming, that this was a bad dream. Perhaps he should be waking up at any moment now, but yet nothing changed as he stood there. Tsunade entered the room, silent, as she stood there as well. As Naruto stood there, he stepped forward, his hands started to glow purple. Tsunade was starting to get concerned, as Naruto placed a hand on both girls, gently. The purple ink just started to swirl around their body, but yet nothing happened. Come on, damn it, said Naruto, but yet nothing happened. Come on, he said, but nothing was working. Naruto, no, said Naruto. As he stepped away, why can't I do this? What's the point of having these amazing powers if you can't save the ones that you care about? I can do all these amazing things, create, destroy. Why can't I revive, said Naruto. I can create anything, yet I can't revive. As Naruto held on to his head, as he was starting to get angry, he was starting to panic, he was starting to lose it. As his hands were shaking, Tsunade noticed it. It was a panic attack. He was doubting himself, self-doubt, not to mention the anger was too much. As she felt the building start to shake a bit, she stepped forward. The only thing she could do was hug him. As she hugged him, as his body still trembled, but she hugged him. Calm down, she said, knowing that it wouldn't be wise for him to lose his cool right now, but she had to show him. If she had waited too long and showed him, he would have been angry. She had to show him. As Naruto stood there, unmoving, looking at the two girls. They were making plans, all of them, to convince Raikage to let them move to Konoha. Or better yet, Naruto told them that he will simply build a flying mansion in the sky where all of them were welcome. It was just a theory that he had, and he could teleport them there at any time. Yet, their bodies were here unmoving. As Naruto looked towards his hands, he could literally reverse time on his wounds. If he got stabbed, he could put the blood back into his body and heal himself like he was reversing time. But yet he couldn't do it to other people. He could do it on the earth, plants, yet he couldn't do it to other people. Wasn't he supposed to be a god? Some kind of deity that was too powerful to even be in this world. That was what the goddess told him. But yet, all that talk and he couldn't bring them back. What was the point of having all this power if he couldn't do something like that? They didn't deserve to die. They were still so young in their prime. As Naruto knew this couldn't be any coincidence for them to die. This wasn't a mission, this wasn't anyone that took them down. They were not normal ninjas, and not to mention Yujito was with them on that mission. Where did they... How did they get here, said Naruto. You need to... Bachan, please, said Naruto. What happened? Tsunade reached as she pulled the note. This was left with them. As Naruto took the note with shaky hands, as it read, the next time you interfere, someone closer will be taken. We'll be coming for you soon. And it ended. As Naruto stood there unmoving, he placed a note down on the table. As he looked towards two bodies, before walking out of the room, he just walked out of the room. No, Shizune. As Tsunade shook her head. Let him be for now. But Hokage-sama, what if he won't? Despite Naruto might be in a rational state, even if he was irrational, he thought about people. He knew there was so many people in his village that would hate to see him just vanish without a trace. And he would never do something like that. Tsunade had 100% faith in that. She slammed her fist into the wall as it creaked a bit. As they were already making their plans to get Danzo, and yet this had to happen. The Uchiha wasn't going to like this at all. But as Naruto was the one that had the plan to help them get Danzo, which was perfect in her mind, it didn't look like he was gonna focus on that right now. Time skip. As Tsunade had sent Shizune to inform the girls about what happened, to make sure that they were there for Naruto. They quickly went out to find him. When they did, he was at the memorial stone, sitting there at the third's name, where his father's name was, and his mother's name was as well. Naruto felt terrible. He knew that he couldn't save everyone in this world, but it hurt. Losing someone close to you really hurts. He spent long months in Kumo, flashing to places after places, making sure that all the girls were happy. Despite everything, he loved them all. There was just something about them all. They had their different charms, something that made each of them special in his eyes. And to have not one, but 3 of them taken away, he knew that Yujito was on that mission. The Akatsuki was goading him. They were trying to prove a point that they could get to the ones that he loved. But they messed up. They messed up bad. Haku stopped all of them from intervening, as she saw that Naruto needed time alone. Sometimes someone just needs to breathe, not be bombarded by everyone around him. And this was one of those times. They all loved him, but they had to do the right thing for him. Time skip. Naruto had headed to Kumo rather quickly. He wanted to be the one to go and talk to the Raikage himself. Not to mention he had the speed to do so, as he would get there rather quickly. Tsunade was currently in her office with one of the barrier members. He did what? He said that it would be a better security for Konoha. I'm unsure myself, ma'am, said the barrier member as he looked towards Tsunade. As Naruto went and tampered with the barrier around Konoha, has it changed somehow? I'm afraid I don't see any immediate changes, but he did flash this purple light, and then he just went off. Tsunade was confused what Naruto did. He, despite his state, told the girls that everything was going to be fine and that he just needs some time right now to think about things. He just wanted some time to clear his head. Despite the state that he was in, there wasn't a problem with sending Naruto out, not to mention of his clan head status. Clan head has more privilege other than anyone else in the village. But this was a good showing towards Kumo to show them that one of their ninjas personally came there. Not to mention one of their top ninjas, as Naruto knew the Raikage well. In the office, as the Raikage was stern as he looked through the window, the man was furious, incredibly so. And they're gonna come after my brother next, he said. Yes, said Naruto. They're trying to say that we can't stop them unless we try. We're gonna lose people close to us. So this was a point they're trying to prove, the Raikage said. Well, let's prove a point of our own, said the Raikage. I couldn't have said it better myself, said Naruto. I'm gonna find each and every one of them, and I'm gonna end this organization. It's been too long since they have been roaming around. And how do you intend to do that? Jiraiya has been out gathering information. I'm gonna find him and find what he finds out. I must be able to put something together and find out something about them. Their recent location. I just need something. I have eyes and ears over a lot of places. I'm gonna check with everyone. I just need a small chance of their location. And I'm gonna end this, said Naruto, once and for all. I know that you're powerful, said the Raikage, but it is irrational to go up against so many S-rank ninjas without even speaking to your Hokage first. He knew how powerful Naruto was, and Naruto was a clan head. He had more rights than many other people, but the idea of him facing off against so many S-ranks by himself, that was a dangerous thought, although he knew how powerful Naruto was. Well, he didn't know the full extent, but Naruto was incredibly powerful. I will, said Naruto. Well, that was a lie. When he was going to take down the Akatsuki, he was going to go alone. He wasn't going to put anyone in danger for him. And not to mention, he was not going to leave a smit of hair behind from either of them. He was going to annihilate the entire area. He was going to take everything down. The Raikage walked over as he placed his hand on Naruto's shoulder. I'm sorry, he said. I knew that you cared deeply for them. As Naruto simply nodded. I'll miss them, he said. But I'll make sure this finally ends. Don't worry. I won't allow your brother to be taken because I'm gonna end this, said Naruto. No more. They won't take anything else. Time skip. Jiraiya was currently in a bar. As the man was drunk. Two beautiful ladies on his lap. He was smiling as they poured liquor in his mouth. As he was having the time of his what? Jiraiya was grabbed by the back of his shirt. As he was picked up and pulled out of the bar. Hey, what the? As he tried to fight by the person. But the person simply slapped away his hand when he tried to grab the purse from behind. As he was dropped towards the ground. He looked up at the stern face of Naruto. Brat? As Naruto placed two fingers on Jiraiya's skull. The man leaned over and puking up all the alcohol. As he glared at Naruto. I really hate when you do that. As Naruto had made it hard for Jiraiya to get drunk because every time he did around him, he would make him puke it up somehow by using that damn cosmic energy of his. What the hell are you even doing here, said Jiraiya. The Akatsuki. They need to be stopped. Jiraiya saw that stern look on Naruto's face. What did they do? They took them, said Naruto. As Jiraiya lowered his head at that as he picked up himself. Seeing the look on Naruto's face, this was serious. Time skip. As both Naruto and Jiraiya were currently standing in the hotel that he was staying in. As Jiraiya was giving Naruto some notes as Naruto was looking over them. Nothing. After all these months, nothing, said Naruto. You know, information is not that easy to gather on these guys. They're basically ghosts, said Jiraiya. Just moving and doing as they please. Well, I'm gonna put an end to that. Kid, I know you're angry, said Jiraiya. But you need to calm yourself right now. Going into this irrational is not gonna help anyone. My head is perfectly on straight. And I know what I'm doing, said Naruto. But what about this? The hidden ring. What's going on there? Well, that's just a rumor that I heard. That Hanzo of the Salamander has been taken down. And it has to do with the Akatsuki. You mean the Akatsuki killed him, said Naruto. The hidden ring has been locked down ever since. You can't get into that place without a long check. And a lot of paperwork. They bar a lot of people from entering their village. Including us Konoha ninjas. Nations that involve the destruction of their home back in the war. Are not allowed to enter their village. But you can sneak in, said Naruto. Well, I am the world's greatest spy master, said Jiraiya. But I don't really believe these hosts. Hanzo the Salamander is dangerous, kid. For the Akatsuki to take him down, I know that they are strong, but I don't believe that you're that strong. You already face a couple of them. Judging from their strength, do you think I can take them? Asked Jiraiya. Yeah, said Naruto. Well, back then Hanzo was able to take the three of us. And you know the story about our names. So, if he has been trained these entire years, getting stronger, something that everyone has been taking off their minds because he locked down his nation, I refuse to believe that a couple of upstarts S-rank ninjas are able to take him out so easily. Not to mention with the entire backing of the hidden ring. Yeah, I guess you're right, said Naruto. But it still wouldn't be bad to check. Kid, I told you it's a waste of time, Jiraiya said. But you know what? Let's go check it out. It's been a while since you and I went on a road trip. This is not a road trip, said Naruto. This is us going to find the guys that are causing so much problem for this world and end their life. Time skip. At Konoha, Tsunade was looking at Sasuke in front of her. I told you he left the village to find Jiraiya to track down leads on the Akatsuki. He'll be back soon. Don't worry. We will find out if this host of the masked man is fake or reality. Sasuke nodded as he simply left the office. Tsunade sighed. The boy really wanted to know. He really wanted to know if he spent all of his life hating someone who chose his life over the entire clan, who chose to protect him so the rest of the clan could die, because that would really change things. He preferred to think of Itachi as the evil one, the one that ended his happiness. Because if Itachi was good all along, if Itachi was a loving brother that picked him to survive, it was going to be hard to cope with that. A gentle breeze blew through the window, ruffling her hair as she turned. Someone hopped on the windowsill. Well, it was Animal, as it was none other than Rimuru as he landed, right in Snally's decks. Rimuru said Snally, "What's going on?" As Rimuru was the one that was giving her information on Naruto. After all, he could fly fast, and he could tell wherever Naruto was, they were connected. Naruto and Jiraiya are going to go check out a link on the Akatsuki. What? Alone? They said that they have it covered, and it's nothing but a check, so you don't have anything to worry about. They said I should tell you not to worry. Snally sighed. Well, given what the both of them has shown, I know Jiraiya is powerful and Naruto is as well. I should not worry so much, she said. They can handle themselves. Yes, there's no need for you to stress yourself, said Rimuru. I will go back now. If there's anything, I will bring news back, he said. She nodded, as with that Rimuru flew off. Meanwhile, at the Uzumaki compound, as Fu sighed, as Temari placed a hand on her shoulder, she sat down beside her. It's gonna be alright. It's just hard for him right now. It just goes to show you how much he cares about people. How do you think he would feel if anything happened to one of us? Fu shook her head. Don't even say that, she said. I never want to leave Naruto inside. But I miss him. Don't worry. Once this all is over, he will be home all the time. Not to mention he's doing this for all of us, to keep us safe. And you too, Fu. You know why? Fu nodded. But he's going out of his way to protect us all. We need to be out there helping him. He's rather stubborn when it came to these things. He knew that we're strong, but he refused to let us get involved in the Akatsuki. Well, he's kind of right, said Teiwaya as she came inside. Huh, since when have you gotten so level-headed? Asked Temari. Well, it's something I've been thinking about. The Akatsuki is gonna stop at nothing to gather databases. Fu, you have one inside of you, so they're gonna be coming after you. That's not even a question. And the problem lies with Naruto. They know that he's strong. Recently, his power has been confirmed by them. That is why they decided to leave this message for him. They know that he's powerful enough to stop them, so they're afraid. That is why they're going to use underhanded tactics and try to psych him out. But it doesn't matter, said Haku as she arrived in the kitchen as well. There's no way none of them can step foot in Konoha anymore without him finding out. And besides, we have an army of shinobis here, so everything's gonna be alright, and all of us would fight with our life to protect you, Fu. Really? As Fu looked up towards him. Of course, you're part of the family. As Fu smiled at that. Thanks guys, she said. Don't mention it. Oh, you guys are all here. As Karen came inside. I'm making breakfast. Who's hungry? Oh, I got something to work on my fan, said Temari as she walked out. Oh, I got this new ice technique I have to practice, said Haku as she left. And I need to test my flying, said Fu as she flew out of the room, not even touching the ground. What's with them? What about you? Seems you haven't realized this yet, but you're a terrible, god-awful cook. What? No, I'm not. You know that Naruto only pretends to eat your food because he's in love with basically all of us and he don't want to see us get hurt, right? Especially you, because you get all whiny when he doesn't like what you've made. So he just do it for your benefit. What? Yeah, we all hate it as well. But unlike the others, I care about you, but I don't give so much crap about your feelings. You bitch, said Karen. Bitch suit me, doesn't it? I like being a bitch. Yeah, so call me that all you want, she said. She started to walk out with a smile on her face. Is my cooking real that bad? She thought to herself. Of course it wasn't. They were all just jealous that she cooked for Naruto the most. But he always eat her food and didn't complain. She blinked. Of course he did. He was just that guy to eat, even if it was horrible, and just a smile to make her happy. Not to mention he could literally make food. Oh, yeah, he would. because she'd go out of her way to make him something to eat. Of course he wouldn't tell her it was bad, seeing that he could literally make food. She sighed. She smiled though, as she knew who to go to. Hinata was the best cook that she knew. She would ask Hinata as she made her way. Time skip. What's wrong? Sasuke asks. As Hinata found him, she looked like she has been running. Karen is looking for me. So why are you running? Sasuke asks. Well, I don't want to hurt her feelings. She always wants to cook and ask me certain things and ask me to taste her food. And I just don't want to hurt her feelings. You know? Sometimes you're too nice for your own good, said Sasuke. Is it real that bad? Horrible, said Hinata. As Sasuke laughed a bit, that made Hinata laugh as well. As Sasuke smiled. He hasn't laughed since everything happened. He hasn't even told Hinata. After all, the suspicions on Donjo was really dangerous, so they were supposed to keep it to themselves until everything was ready. Yet Naruto was gone, because he was out, following leads on the Akatsuki. Are you okay? Hinata asks. Yeah. She walked forward, as she gently took his hand. He was surprised by that her bold movement. As he looked towards her, her face was steaming red, but she looked back up at him with defiant eyes. I know you've gone through a lot, and that you still want to resolve things with your brother, but I just want to know that I'll be here, okay? I'll be here through thick and thin for you, to help you along the way. Sasuke smiled. His smile was radiant as he looked at her, staring into her lavender eyes. It just slipped out. You're so beautiful, he said. Her ears started to steam as Sasuke started to get red as well. He sighed. I guess you heard that, he said. Yeah, thanks, she said. Well, you're welcome, Sasuke said. The both of them were really worried when it comes to this. But yet the both of them liked each other, and one thing was, they hadn't released each other's hands. Wanna take a walk with me? As Sasuke nodded. Meanwhile, as both Naruto and Jiraiya was making their way, thinking about possible solution if the Akatsuki was there. Yeah, said Naruto. As angry as I am, innocent people shouldn't get hurt. So we can't just jump into the rain, all guns blazing. Yeah, and given your abilities, Jiraiya said, you might end up just blowing up the entire village. If this is turned out to be reality, and everyone is there, the Akatsuki I mean. I have my emotions under lock. Do you? Jiraiya said. You know, your power works a lot on your emotions. When you're angry, thunder and lightning. When you're sad, rain fall continuously. You're like a giant black cloud that just make rain fall the entire time, refusing to go away until you cheer up somehow. That is why I'm a bit concerned why isn't there any rain. Because you're pushing all of your emotion towards anger, taking on the Akatsuki, and that is not the right set of mind that you need to have to go into this. I can't allow myself to grieve right now, said Naruto. Why not? Jiraiya said. Because it's hard, said Naruto. As much as I hate to say it, this is my one weakness, it seems. Having to lose people that is so close to me. Having never known my mom or dad, said Naruto. And I don't want to lose anyone else. And if I took the moment to grieve, it would be too hard to even think properly about other things. I can't lose anyone else. I just can't. I know it sounds selfish knowing this ninja world, but I won't let anyone else be taken away, said Naruto. Jiraiya placed a hand on his shoulder as Naruto had stopped. Don't worry, kid. I won't leave you, he said. Huh. Given your perverted lifestyle, you probably end up getting killed by a stripper that you didn't pay correctly. Jiraiya laughed. You know, you might be right, he said, as the both of them continued their way. As Jiraiya saw a smile on Naruto's face. At least, the kid was smiling some now. But he knew how much a kid cared for those girls. Things were going to be bad when they end up at the Hidden Rain. But if this was true in the Akatsukis, all of them were gathered there. Jiraiya knew that he was strong, but all of them were ex-strong criminals. He was gonna need help. And the kid was like a walking ultimate ninja. Why would he turn down something like that? So with that, they continued on their path towards the Hidden Rain. Meanwhile that was going on, Pain was not in the village. No, he was not. At the moment, he was currently hunting down the six tails. Madara was afraid. Toby, yes, Toby was afraid. He was the one that told Pain to get the two tails and where her locations will be. The reason why he did that was because if Naruto had arrived, he could use the bodies of Pain as a distraction to get away. That was how afraid he was, because it was not humanly possible for someone to literally almost rip his dimension apart while from the inside. Yes, that shook him a bit. Minato was dangerous, being a double S rank criminal, but he couldn't even know what to rank Naruto at, given these powers that didn't seem to make sense in ninja world. Something that was too chaotic. He has already displayed them before, showing that he could bypass his Kamui, so he was going to chance it. And Nagato was better at gathering tail pieces because it was so much quicker than the others. Kisame loved the battle, and Hidan would want to create all kind of crap with his prayers. Kakazo would get straight to things done, but he had a pride of being a man that has survived so long even facing off against the first, and he refused to make anyone look down on him. So they take too long, so Pain is the best option. But the thing was, Kakazo and Hidan target, their next target was the Seven Tails, and Kisame and Itachi, their next target was the Tails at Kumo, and Pain was gonna go after the Nine Tails. So things were gonna be a bit tricky here. Meanwhile, as both Naruto and Jiraiya arrived towards the Hidden Rain, unknowing that the person they were looking for wasn't even there. But would he arrive on time to find the person that is actually a god, compared to his false talk of being a god? And how would the residents of the Hidden Rain go through it? After all, as Jiraiya said, when Naruto lashed out, things tend to get a bit explosive around him. Just his raw, uncontrolled power, not to mention his rage that came with it. The Hidden Rain didn't look stable enough to handle someone like Naruto. The power was gonna be too much. But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want to see the next part, then do like, subscribe, comment, noble, and turn on the bell notifications they posted. But I'm off for now. See you guys soon. Peace.